What do you feel? What's the name?
I feel like it starts with a K.
Kevin. Thoughts? Like
I have so many. Hello and welcome to Worlds Apart, the podcast where everything is made up and that's the entire goddamn point. How's it going, Odie?
It's going good. I am ready to build a world. I have an energy
You
drink.
timed that crack perfectly. You're like, all right, let's fucking go.
I'm ready to build a world. All right.
Audience, right before we started doing this episode, like yesterday, we were on a call and we were talking about how we were going to intro the podcast. And from now on, we were going to be doing cold opens. Lav, that's on you. And can you imagine a cold open where we're just like, all right, let's fucking go. We both crack open a beer. Well, I crack open a beer. You crack open what was that, a Rockstar? And we both just shotgun.
Yeah. Just fucking chug the entire thing.
And then it hard cuts to the
It'll
logo.
be great. 10 out of 10. But yes, hello. Welcome to Worlds Apart, your favorite bi-weekly world-building podcast in training. A little bit of a recap from last week. We started off with a mountain range and developed into a Primordial Titan who also had an enemy that was good nor bad. And a lot of things. He also gave birth to a new race called Primordians, and it was a lot. You should go watch the first episode if you need to catch up, because there's a lot in it for an hour. So,
That was such a good episode.
it was.
The Sundial Mountains were so good.
Mhm.
And that's kind of the cadence of the podcast. We're just going to start with something and then completely derail. And then that derail becomes the new rail. Do we have any last things from the last time that we want to kind of tie up?
Well, I wrote down notes from the last recording. Did we want to give the mountains themselves names? So we have like the primary mountain, Optimus Prime Mountain.
Yes.
Do we want like each finger or each dial to have its own name?
Oh, it should. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
What's the first one called?
Oh, no. Don't do this to me again.
No, I'm playing.
No.
What were you going to say?
Well, we talked about the fact that each of those mountains would have its own significance, and if you were born with the sun facing it or casting a shadow over the town, while, if that happened while you were born, then it would mean a certain thing. We could name them after, like, the seasons, maybe? But there's
Just give 'em,
5 of them.
Yeah. We can make up a season.
Should we just completely bullshit a 5th season? Oh, okay,
Listen,
fine.
you peer pressured me into making a year calendar. We can figure this out, okay?
I influenced you.
Peer pressured.
So then do we want to stick with the standard summer, winter, fall, spring thing? And then the 5th one could be maybe it's like a really intense season where some element runs rampant on a 4-year cycle. So you know how in Antarctica, or no, in the Arctic, it can be really dark for extremely long periods of time, and their winter is basically year round, but then during a certain part of the year, it's just like dark 24/7, and then during another part of the year, it's like really light 24/7.
Yeah.
So maybe they have something where it's like some aspect of nature is just dialed up to 100 for a couple months at a time, and everyone just kind of has to like hunker down.
The entire continent has to hunker down?
It would just be that region. Oh, well, that's a good point. If it's a full ass season, then it would affect the entire continent.
Unless... Ooh. Well, you've mentioned a couple of times like an eclipse. What if there's like a month-long eclipse?
Yeah.
That just sits consistently.
Oh.
And do we want the eclipse to be like behind the moon or behind the sun or behind both?
It would have to be moon covering sun. Because
Okay.
if it was sun covering moon, then we'd have a sun that's like 16 feet away from the surface of the earth.
I could live that.
that'd be,
Easy.
Well, I don't know.
Okay. So did you want to run it as how long do we want to say a season is? If we're keeping on this, just regular 3 months, 2 months, 1 month?
Whatever it is should be divisible by 5. So we could say like 15.
Okay. Our calendar year is 15 months.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to write that down so we don't forget it.
I love how we went from like, hey, this mountain exists out of a handprint to, all right, so here's the calendar. Here's like the time.
It revolves
cycles,
around everything in it. Yeah.
everything. World building is so much fun.
Okay. So calendar year is 15 months. All right. So for this eclipse, what are some of the benefits or negative side effects of it? So obviously, do we want complete and total darkness, or is it just like a really eerie, dull kind of lighting?
Maybe it's like the closest it gets to sunlight is a sort of twilight. It's almost like the sun starts to poke up and then dips back down again.
Okay.
Just due to the way that the world like spins and the axes and all these all these astrological type things that we definitely do not have the degrees to be able to determine on our own. So it's fantasy. It's fantasy stuff.
Just high fantasy. Let's get away with it. Okay, we'll be okay. It's gonna be fine.
So maybe it gets to like just enough sunlight that certain creatures and certain plants that still rely on sunlight can start to seasonally be able to survive on less. It's almost like, God, because when you think about sunlight, right, it is the building block of our entire food system in that it feeds plants. So it'd have to be short enough so that plants could reasonably hibernate or go into some sort of stasis for the 3 months that it's this eclipse period. Or they learn to convert something else into a food source, or they learn how to survive off of just a little bit of sunlight that comes in for a couple hours each day during that twilight period.
Okay.
Maybe not full darkness, but like almost darkness.
Okay. Kind of like that, like just before dusk kind of lighting.
The witching hour.
Yeah.
The witching season. Oh, crazy.
Not bad. Well, it's funny you said that because like you're mentioning like plant life and food and harvesting and all that kind of stuff. There's also the aspect of creatures who hate sunlight, who are now free to roam for 3 months.
Yep.
Which is a whole other bucket of worms to unpack. And oh my god.
Certain gods would go fucking ham during those 3 months. There would be like, it would be almost like one of those things where if you were born, but I guess that would make it so that, so if you were born underneath that mountain sign, then it's considered like a bad omen or like a curse.
Okay, I can see that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
But then what do we call the mountain?
Big boy.
Okay, yes, the big...
No. So, the big boy. Alright, so let's... With running with this, let's start off with like the prime mountain. The mountain in the palm of the hand. That's like where the Primordians live underneath. Did we want to like tribute that towards the Elemental Titan? So we can either name that mountain after the Titan, that we can name him something. Because I'm a huge fan of the Greek mythology where like they're sort of named after their realms, I guess, like Gaia, how she looks after like earth and stone and all that kind of stuff. And do we want this Primordial Titan to be a man, a woman, a person of they, them pronouns? An entity, I guess, but what are you thinking? What do you feel? What's the... When you envision a giant Primordial Titan lifting up their big-ass hand and revealing mountains and giving life and birthing a new generation into this world where they are destined for greatness and evil and beauty and horror.
Uh-huh.
What do you feel? What's the name?
I feel like it'd start with a K. That gives strong K name vibe.
Kevin. Thoughts?
I have so many. The thoughts are second thoughts about doing this goddamn podcast with you.
Oh, God. That's a mortal wound.
Oh, I would never. K name or an X name, I think. Like in the same way that like Xerxes in the old... I'm just thinking of the movie 300 now for several reasons.
Dude, can we watch that again soon?
Yes! Did we watch it the first time?
I think so, but yeah, I'm down.
I'm so here for that.
100%. Okay, so Primordial Titan starts with a K or an X. This is where... Alright, disclaimer for the audience, just because this is going to be the part where you experience a lot of pauses. And if you're not watching on YouTube, at Worlds Apart TTRPG, you will not see the faces and the silence and the prominent gears in our heads turning, trying to think of a fucking name for something, because it's a process. We're not using generators. We're not using generators, but we're going to figure this out. It's going to be great. So, all right, we got K or an X to start off. Yes. Giant Titan. Are there any rocks or mountains or anything? Use that big brain.
This big brain that explicitly has a degree in everything that's biotic and not abiotic, like fucking rocks. I know that there's... Sorry?
What if I Googled, is it geology?
Just Google rocks. Yeah. Geology.
Rocks that start with K. All right, we have Cataphorit.
Damn. That's a good start.
Cato?
Cato?
Cato.
Is that too short? Is that too humanoid?
It's fucking to the point.
Yeah. It's primordial. It gives like... And that means that anyone who's born under those signs or people who are like descendants, the Primordials might have like names that link back to that original god that they were born under and might start with K or have like other letters that end in Ado or something like the same way that people have like, you know, fucking Johansson as like son of Johan or whatever. You know, that whole same kind of line of thinking and naming could trace back to the primordials.
Yeah, bloody oath. So, God, that's actually really cool. There could be like, dude, there's bloodlines in this shit, isn't there? Okay.
Yeah, we already wrote them.
This is true. We did. God, we're awesome.
We're so fucking good at this.
We're so damn good at it.
High five across the planet. Lav, make that line up. Did not.
For the love of God. Okay, so we have Cato, the primordial Earth Titan. Our first Titan. Oh, how adorable. Alright, so if we're going to name this mountain after Cato, do we just want to put Cato with like an emphasis on the end of it? Could Cato be the finishing? Or we can literally just call it the heart of Cato?
Ooh. I think we should do some sort of suffix. And that suffix can denote that whatever we're talking about is a mountain. And so it can be consistent across the primordial. So whatever their names are, we just slap that little like end bit onto it. And it's like, this is the mountain or this is the territory of this primordial titan.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What's suffix? What does that mean?
A suffix is like the last part of a word. So, oh my God, what are some example suffixes? So it's like how if someone were named. So, you know how we have words like something full or something less,
like meaningful. Yes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it's like a end.
It's a part
modifier.
2. Got you.
It's a modifier. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Learning with Odie. Anyway. Okay. So we want to put a suffix on the end of Cato.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What should that suffix be? I'm gonna keep using this word.
I came up with the name. You do it.
I came up with the name. You came up with K. I found K. Toe.
You came up with the fucking okay, fine. We'll do so mountain names.
We're a team, by the way.
Yeah, we're friends.
Friends. So alright, so Cato. Catotron, like an Autobot.
Should we do so one thing I thought of was MIA. Katamia. But that makes really it all pretty. Yeah, it turns it all a little bit more feminine. But at the same time, I feel like when I imagine primordial beings, gender's a construct. They don't give a shit. They're probably all they-thems.
Yeah, they're just beasts, to put simply.
They're gender fluid.
What was it again, sorry?
MIA would be like the suffix for a territory of a given primordial.
Okay.
And so whatever other names we have for these primordials, if it flows well with MIA at the end, then that denotes their given mountain, which means we have 4 more to name.
We do. Let's focus on one right now before we go off on a tangent. So, how did you pronounce it again? Cato?
So if it's Cato and then Katamia would be same spelling, Katomia, I think.
Okay, Katamia. So did you want that to be the name of the mountain or the name of the Titan?
I think the name of the mountain for sure.
Katamia?
And then and then just Kato would be the name of the Titan.
Hell yeah. I really like that. That's actually a really pretty name.
Yeah, right?
Katamia. I like it.
I feel like it kind of gives the same vibe as how all ships are women. Like,
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Nice. All right, so we have the Prime Mountain, Katamia. Beautiful, lovely, stunning. With the other five fingers. With the other five, did we want? This is where tangent begins. I do apologize. Are there like other Primordian cities based under these smaller mountains? Are there like sanctuaries or temples, or are they like sacred lands in a sense? I need to burp.
I can't wait to see what Lev does with that.
Yes, it'll be fine. I trust her. But do we want? What do we want of them? Do we want them to be like sacred lands? Are they a mix and match of villages and cities? Have other nations taken them over? What do we want of these mountains?
I think if we want to make it a super cohesive, we have a couple options. If we want it to be super cohesive, that these cities have like, I guess, how do we put this? If we want to, we could make it so that every finger has its own specialty. One is like the militaristic one is like where the mage college is. The other is like a center of trading because it's on the outskirts of the hand anyway. So people are coming in from other places, wouldn't want to delve into, towards Katamia in order to do it. They would want to stay on the outskirts if they don't have to travel across the mountains. Why would they? One could be, I don't know. What would the other one would be like a center of religion, maybe?
Just like a very old traditional praising of like all the element kind of thing.
Yeah. Or would have, at the very least, like that village would have that as a center of its culture, but wouldn't necessarily need to be the whole culture. What would the fifth one be, though?
I mean, it could be a forbidden place. It could be something along the lines of a cursed land, or maybe there was a war or a fight between the Titan and something else that like crash landed into that mountain and it got corrupt of sorts.
Oh, I like that. Yes, because we're coming into this so long after this Titan actually, high-fived the planet that it makes sense that things would have gone wrong in the meantime. That makes total sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So maybe that's the mountain that has turned into the one that people dislike or is associated with the dark times, the Eclipse.
Possibly, 100%. It could have like a creature in it that harvests a stone from it, like a relic.
Yeah,
possibly.
Possibly.
Or we can absolutely do like something took over there. Something corrupt came through somewhere, or maybe we talked about like a group of elemental or Primordians, who believed they were better. I think we touched on it briefly, but there was like a group of Primordians that believed they were better, or believed in this prophecy of someone or something combining two elements and becoming all powerful.
Yes. Yeah, and there were people who were like, don't do that.
Yeah, and there were others who believed it could be great.
Oh.
So this could be like the same belief but different standing points.
Mm-hmm.
And those who believe such things are shunned or choose to leave and go to that mountain and believe that someday this prophesized elementalist will arrive and take the place of two elements.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
And then ascend to godhood and achieve apotheosis. And okay, solid. So it's like a religious center for the outcasts, or it's like a last resort type town where the downtrodden kind of have to gather.
Yeah. Those who aren't of traditional beliefs are welcomed there, but are believed to be banished to there.
It's a hippie commune.
It's 100%. They out here smoking magma. It's great.
Well, now we have to world build our world equivalent of weed.
I'm down to call it magma, bro. That's easy. Okay, so just so we can run through this, we want a like a trading post mountain.
I think so, or some like large area of commerce that would be or it doesn't even have to be traditional trading. It could be trading or diplomacy. So
Okay.
like maybe every other town from outside of the handprint would have some sort of embassy in that town. So that way there's one gathering spot. It's considered like peaceful territory no matter what, kind of like a demilitarized zone. But, that way people wouldn't have to travel all the way into the heart, into the palm.
Okay. So they're kind of like Switzerland in a sense. They're neutral.
Yes.
Kind of?
I guess.
Where are you going with it?
Sure. Switzerland. Let's make Switzerland. I don't
Let's do
know
it.
much about world history, so I'm assuming sure.
Okay. So what I'm hearing from what you're saying, sorry, just so I make sure we're on the same page, is this trading / commerce post, do you want it to be like, so people from outside of the handprint, outside of the sundial, basically, come to visit and be like, we want to go in, or is it like we've brought gifts or trading or outside sources that you can take into the hand, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
That's
it's
what you
like
lean
their
towards?
major gateway. Yeah.
Okay.
And like people can enter from elsewhere. Like obviously there's the whole area towards the backside of the palm that would be kind of unguarded by mountains, just given the way that hands are spread and all that. But like diplomatically, paperwork wise, you want to go to that mountain.
Okay. Got you. So there's like a main road passing through that mountain, basically. Okay, cool. All right, so we have that one. You mentioned a magical academy.
Listen, I'm a slut for magic schools.
Listen, as a wizard main,
Oh, right.
I'm all for that shit. So if we want to make one dedicated to like an elemental-esque kind of magic, or one that is trying to build a new magic from these elements or something along those lines, we absolutely can. Or they just practice a traditional magic of all sorts.
Well, that's the thing. Okay, first of all, if we had a magic school like that, would they welcome the concept? Like, what side of the political divide are they on? I'm guessing they would be more into traditional stuff, but at the same time, if you're giving people the chance to master elemental magic, at least a few are gonna start to fuck around with the concept of merging them. So it's
and it has been fucking centuries too. So
yeah. So, oh man,
remember,
does that mean the school would be divided by element?
It's possible. Also, remember, we're very, very early days on this. Like, we haven't built outside governments or politics or anything yet. Whether there's like an agreement between a kingdom and the sundial that students are welcomed under certain circumstances or whatever. So keep an open mind when we think about it for now until we get definitive details.
True.
So anything is possible right now. So any idea, let it run.
Oh man. I feel like if this was the hub of magic, it would be around for quite a while. Mm-hmm. So it actually would have a ton of influx from outside kingdoms. People would want to study. It's like why people go to Oxford, It's why none of the cool schools are in America. It's because America's only, 200 years old?
Totally.
300?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm not good at history. I know mythology, and that's it.
There you go.
Okay, so we can have the magical academy. You mentioned dividing them into elements. So, like, is there, like, specific schools of magic dedicated to each element?
Because here's the thing. We had the other handprints from the other Titans, and this one was technically, like, the Sundial Mountains was only belonged to the Earth God, right? Mm-hmm. But, yeah, so I guess it wouldn't make much sense to divide the Earth God's primary magical school into elements, but maybe they broke it up by... I mean, I guess there wouldn't really be a need to break it up, would they?
No, not really. We could say for like an added flavor about being like the Earth, about being Kato's school, maybe there's a fountain or a certain area where he pushed in so deep that it hit like an arcane nugget of
Like
sorts.
a font of magic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And centuries ago, years ago, yesterday, if we wanted to, someone traversed that mountain, found it, and was like, my God, Cato has chosen me to find this, and built the school up from there.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful. Font of magic found there. Magique. Okay. What else have you got?
Okay. So there was one that was for influx and output of culture, so trading,
Yep.
embassies, things like that. One for magic, one
Yep.
for militaristic sort of vibes.
Elaborate.
So something like their training hub, where it's like the equivalent of a military school or getting sent to the military, where it's, obviously they have a lot of perhaps earth mages. They have almost the equivalent of those people in Dune who burst out of the ground and do like fucking slicing at people's ankles and things like that.
Oh,
They're developing weaponry technology, things like that, out in that specific mountain. And then from there, it'd be pretty easy to deploy people to the other mountains to defend at least half of the outskirts of the Sundial Mountains. So it makes sense to have at least one, maybe the center one of the 5.
How do you feel about the center one being the like commerce and trading post one? Just because that finger extends out the most, so
That makes sense,
a
actually.
bit further out. We have a
That's
map
true.
right in front of us, dog. It's right there.
I know, I keep staring at my head and I'm like, how do hands work?
Yeah.
What is
So we
So
can
maybe
say
the thumb then.
the thumb.
Well, the thumb would also be far enough away from anything else that it would be like not the primary target of any attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I think I don't know a lot about like military strategies or if it makes sense strategically, but I feel like a thumb would be a solid like strong point.
Yeah. Well, depending on how it landed, the mountain at the thumb could literally just be a like little cavern of sorts that like loops around. So they've built along all the walls of the mountain.
True.
Yeah. So it's like a U shape in a sense, and they built along the ridges of the mountain and the flat land beneath. It's just this bunker, if you will, of militaristic, yeah, make a man out of you kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
Right.
100%.
So thumb is military.
Mhm.
Middle finger is...
Yep, this one.
That one.
Sorry, was it this one?
Is that one. Is your commerce and your trading and all that kind of stuff. I feel like the Arcane Academy might be next to the military because they would probably want to pull mages from there to train, use, I guess.
And they would like supply them with, arcane materials and
Yeah.
new bindings, things like that, strategies.
Yep.
So what about the other two? What would
Well, we wanted cursed. Pinky is cursed and forgotten. Is
as it always is.
obviously. It's like it got stubbed and now it's just in pain constantly. Forgotten mountain. All right, so we have that. And what's the last one? You mentioned what'd you mention? I mean, it could be like a pilgrimage we mentioned. Oh, religion.
Religion.
Yeah.
That was it.
It would, yeah.
We're good at this.
We're crushing it. Okay, so religion. Do we want it to be like a dedicated temple? Like you have to, it's like its own Mount Olympus in a sense. I keep going back to Greek mythology. I'm sorry, but
No, that makes
like
sense.
it's like a Mount. Have you seen Disney Hercules?
No, I haven't. And I feel like you knew that when you asked that question. I haven't.
I forgot because I remember you haven't. I forgot if I made you watch it or not. But
No,
we're gonna
because
have to watch
I
it.
also don't know shit about like Epic or anything like that, and I'm
That's fine.
useless.
That's fine. So Disney Hercules is my all-time favorite movie. Loved it, live it, all that kind of shit. But he literally goes on a pilgrimage, if you will, to find the Temple of Zeus, which is this lone temple at the tippity-tip top of a mountain. And it's just this beautifully crafted, empty temple. There is no one catering to it, no one looking after it. It is just like the beautiful Greek mythology design of just columns with this beautifully crafted roof and then Zeus sitting, a statue just of that god. So we could have that lone temple that sits above the clouds, if you will.
Takeda?
Takeda.
If it sits above the clouds in a mountain, so it would be the tallest mountain of them all. Has to be, right?
Yeah. Because Katomia, is that how we pronounce it? She thick. She just got like a round base, and she like rigid and fucking buzz. Just because the palm, it had to spread out over so much land. Don't judge me.
No, go for it. Yeah, please tell me about how thick this mountain is.
Thickums with like 3 C's. So we have Katomia, who has just a big ass thick mountain.
Yeah.
This one could be the tallest if you want it to be, or it could have a different essence to it. It could be a volcano. It could have a specific connection that the other mountains don't have. Maybe a certain fern or plant or something grows. I know you like plants. Yeah. Something grows on it that is rare and only found in this spot in the entire world.
Because it's so tall and like ecologically. Well, it's ecologically it's because it's so tall, but like the people who live there think that it's because of Kato's blessing on the land. Oh man. Okay, so in that case, high altitude plants and creatures and things like that tend to be shrubbier due to the cold temperatures. And okay, this is getting into ecology, like actual ecology. We don't give a shit about real ecology. This is a fantasy world. What if it's an affront to the sky primordial?
The giant hand of death and doom? That one?
Well, if like the fact that the mountain that came out of it is so tall that it breaks through the clouds.
That's actually a really cool premise.
Because they're, like diametric opposites.
This is the one thing that passes through the hand that doesn't get damaged.
Yes! Yeah! So it's like, it's safe, not because it juts into the... I mean, like, kind of ironically, because it juts so far into the sky primordial or the air primordial's territory, that it's kind of safe in doing so.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like a haven of sorts.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
And then also a site for, like, pilgrimage and people who, like... Oh my God, religious leaders, people who want to harvest whatever grows up there or lives up there. And maybe those things, whatever's up there has an air resistance that then people use to go to war against air primordial worshippers or primordians.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. That's cool. God, okay. So then do we want to call it a religious thing, or is it just like a... What do we want to base it as?
I think it makes sense to be partially religious, partially agricultural. Because the Earth Primordials and their related, like, descendants would have a very strong agricultural, like, vibe to them. And so maybe it's like...
Sacred land?
Yeah, sacred land.
Okay. Sacred land, got you. And that can be index finger. I couldn't figure out the finger it was. That one.
Yep.
It can be
still looks offensive when you do
I know
that.
I know. It can be the index finger. So we have military, magical academy, trade, post, and commerce, sacred ground,
Yep.
and the forgotten, forbidden lands.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, this is good.
That'd actually be really good, because if the sacred and forbidden lands are next to each other, the forbidden ones could be trying to push in. Trying to corrupt that mountain next, since it's just this sacred great land of sorts.
And if it were ever to get corrupted, then maybe people would lose, like, such hopes, like, so quickly, that they would just start pulling away from the Sundown Mountains.
Yeah.
And then that gateway town, the next one, would be like a point of mass exodus.
Which will cause chaos.
Which will cause absolute chaos because it's right next door.
Yeah.
That's an apocalypse scenario that we've already written. It is.
That's like 2012 movie kind of.
Yes.
We need to get the fuck out of here kind of thing.
A movie that I have actually seen.
You have?
Audience. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm impressed, dude. Well done.
It wasn't a good movie, but it was. I saw it.
Day After Tomorrow is a fantastic movie.
That was a really good one.
We should have an apocalypse marathon one day.
We should. There's going to be so many instances of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson showing up for no reason.
And just stoically looking off at anything and nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time.
Because wasn't he in 2012? Who am I thinking of?
No, he was in, I know what you're talking about. Is it?
The earthquake one.
Yes.
That was it.
San Diego keeps coming to my mind for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. Oh, bit.
I don't know. But yeah.
I'm going to fucking forget the name of that.
Yep. Anyway.
Shit.
Speaking of names, what do we want to try and give these mountain names now? Or do we want to come back to it?
Oh, we should do it now.
Yeah?
But I want you to name the cursed one.
The cursed one?
Maybe it had an old name and a new name.
So like a forgotten name, but it had its original name, but it got changed when the like accursed came over and whatnot.
Yeah, something to kind of like symbolically in the native language denote that like we don't go there, elephant graveyard style.
Okay. Give me a letter.
Why?
Why? Old name.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Yuga is a good start.
Yuga.
Yuga.
So then the mountain itself would be called Eugamia.
Eugamia.
To denote that it's a mountain. And then the corrupted name would be...
Eugonia.
Eugonia? Eugonia. Oh, God's sake.
Because they're out of there. Like...
I went fully over my head.
Sorry. So Eugamia is its original name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy with that if you are.
Yeah.
Eugamia. Do you reckon keeping Yuga in it for the corrupt or it could what's Yuga backwards? Agua.
Agui?
That just sounds silly, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
But we could also get rid of Mia, so maybe that's like the local culture's way of saying like it's so fucking condemned we don't even consider it a mountain anymore because mountains are sacred to us.
It's just Yuga.
Just Yuga. Oh.
So Eugamia was turned and corrupted into Yuga. The forsaken mountain. Did it with no pressure. I'm getting better at this. Okay. Yuga. Eugamia and Yuga. Okay. Corrupt name. Hell yeah, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Alright. So what... Alright, to give you a little bit of choice in it, what mountain is calling to you? What one of the remaining 4 interests you?
Oh. I want to leave the Arcane College to you because you're a wizard main. I'm going to take
the
diplomatic one. Ah! I'll take the trading one.
Okay.
Oh.
Trading. What's a good starting point for that? So is it like a haven of sorts?
I think well, it'd be like
or just like a trading post in a sense.
It's like a mix between the leading like market of this part of the continent and like Ellis Island, which doesn't matter to you because you're Australian and you don't have Ellis Island in Australia.
I don't know.
Ellis Island is where East Coast American immigrants would come in, and it was like their checkpoint. It was like an island off the coast of the East Coast.
Okay.
People would come in, they would get like registered. It's where the Statue of Liberty is.
Okay.
But at the same time, it's going to be a massive commercial enterprise. Like that whole island is going to be vital to the economy of the mountains. So maybe we call it. Oh my God, what's the?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. The elemental silver.
Huh?
The element.
The Silver Surfer?
Yes. Yeah. Let's name it after the Silver Surfer. Can you imagine?
Perfect.
Silver's elemental acronym or like letters are AG.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe it's got to start with AG.
Okay. It's a mountain also, so we could lean it more towards a rock. What's a rock that starts with AG?
Okay, let me see.
Is that like agorite? Is that one, or am I imagining things?
Ooh.
Augurit?
Augur?
auger.
Um,
I'm not really sure. I'm terrible with rocks. I need to look up rocks. I feel like I'm going to be looking up so much pointless, awesome shit doing this
Agate?
podcast. Agate, that's what it is. That's auget. Jesus Christ.
So, agamia, maybe?
It's not bad.
Agatmia?
Gag.
A gag? They have drag shows every year.
100%.
Mm.
Trying to think. So, this is a huge communal kind of town.
Mhm.
A lot of... Is there, like, politics there as well?
Yeah, so embassies would be there, which would mean
Okay.
that there would be pretty much any sort of communication that happens inside and out of the Sundown Mountains would be anything that requires. So, yes, short answer, yes.
You can go on
I
a
just started
tangent. We
thinking
got
about
time.
like the
It's fine.
politics of like how they would be a super reclusive town and like series of mountains outside of this one middle finger, this finger right here,
Yep.
this one.
That one.
They would be this one.
Yep.
Would be super diplomatic. You know, in fact, they use this to greet each other.
Honestly, I fucking rock with it. Brother. Sorry. Anyway, for our listening viewers, I just interlocked my two middle fingers. Anyway.
It was very cinematic.
Mhm.
Listening viewers, you should watch us on YouTube.
Well, it's
So,
part
yeah.
TTRPG.
So yeah, it'd be diplomatic by nature. It would have to
Okay.
be. It's where maybe like, oh my gosh, you know how people will have runners and messengers? Maybe that's like the hub of communications, long distance and short distance. Like if you're
Okay.
a cardio trained dude who like is going to be a messenger or a mail person, even just within the mountains, then you
Okay.
go there, and that's where the best mentors are.
Cool. This is a side tangent. You can take time to think about the name. I'm just going to go off on a side tangent
Yeah,
for a
do
second.
it.
So, I currently play in a game for Toby.exe. Incredible artist. He made our logo. Toby,
We
you're
love
amazing.
Toby
love
in
you.
this house.
We love Toby in this house. But in his home game that I'm playing in, his mail system or his runners are harpies. And it's incredible. So going off that idea of this creature or this being that are so talented at what they do, like flying and moving quickly, what if instead of harpies, obviously, Toby, I'm going to semi-rip off you. I hope you don't mind. Tell me if it's not okay and we'll take it out.
Lab
What if
will
we-
take it out.
That too. What if we have like an underground runner system? Something that burrows.
Yeah. So anything with like a stone walk, earth walk type speed,
Yeah.
something that burrows, anything that can melt
Like-
with stone would
like
be
a-
like,
Purple worm.
yes,
Like a
yeah, maybe
big-ass
they
worm.
farm them out there.
That would be kind of sick.
And then at the same time, it'd be considered like the fact that they can tame purple worms, or, and again, this isn't specifically D&D, so whatever your world's equivalent of some big badass earth-based creature would be, drop it in here if you want to seal this world for yourself.
Would you
But
still love me if I was a worm?
would you still love me if I was a purple worm? I actually asked someone that the other day.
Are you
They
okay?
gave a satisfactory answer.
Okay,
It was
that's
fine.
good.
We're fine. I then was asked to specify what kind of worm, and my brain died. So then it would also be a show of strength.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
able to like harness the purple worms or whatever worms you have, whatever burrowing system you have, these insanely fast earthen creatures would be front and center in what is otherwise a diplomatic part of the world. And so that way it's like sending a message, but very subtly.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that aspect. I thought of a big ass giant purple worm with an envelope in its mouth.
It's just a singular, like a massive like maw lined with teeth and just like a little greeting card from
Sit
your
on its-
grandma
on
is
its
like
tongue
just in there
is-
like a toothpick. Yeah, it's like sits in it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, what if there's like something that rides the purple worm, or just the worm? Sorry, we're not D&D specific. It's just what I know. I'm sorry. What if there's like riders of these worms, or we could have like, if not worms, maybe like big ass moles that just burrow through shit.
oh,
Big old fluffy boys, you know,
little floofy man.
little
Yeah.
blind boys who just fucking
Yeah. Oh,
Run on through.
100%. Anything with any sort of like tremor sense or
Yeah.
Oh,
What you got? You have all these source books. I'm sure you can find something that
what if
burrows.
it's something that the blind population of these mountains specifically is incredibly good at and almost prized for?
What do you
It's
mean?
like if you're born blind, then inherently, almost like Toph style from Avatar, which is the only
I'm in.
reference to Avatar that I know. Yep. So you're like innately super well disposed to being a rider of these creatures because you understand their senses as well as they do. And you're
Yes.
the best messengers in the world.
Yes. Are these like a continental thing for this continent specifically?
I think so. I think we'd have
Yeah.
to stop after the ocean for
Yeah.
obvious reasons.
I mean, they burrow into the sand. Good luck, I guess. But like, okay.
Go off, I guess. Yeah, they. So like across. Oh man, and maybe they wear certain gear, or they like have blindfolds or something that very obviously distinguishes them. And like seeing a blindfolded warrior astride a
Fuck, that's fucking awesome. Holy
yeah, and
shit.
you're like, oh shit, this person isn't even looking at me right now, and they know exactly where I am, and you just like turn tail and run after that. Like if you see a specific insignia or whatever on their gear,
I think the blindfold's
you
a
know not to fuck
solid
with them.
fucking. That's a badass thing. Like,
Yeah,
someone pops up out of the ground on a purple worm wearing like a red fucking blindfold. It's like, you win.
What if we make them like a souped up version of the United States Postal Service where they're like, any weather, no matter what, you can put a fucking army between me and my destination as long as
I
I'm
will
getting
get
paid
there.
to deliver it, I will get it there. Yes, exactly.
Well, okay, so maybe we don't have them to the colossal scale of a purple worm.
Mhm.
These could just be. Sorry again, D&D terms. That's all I know. Not so. There's medium, is it large, giant, huge?
It's medium, large, huge, and gargantuan, I think.
Okay, somewhere between large and huge. These worms are. So they're solid side, so they can smash through everything underground.
So like bigger than a rhino.
Yes, but they're not gargantuan to the size where, like, if someone pops up out of the ground to deliver a letter,
It like ruins the foundation of your house.
yeah,
You're like,
the entire fucking.
you just open it up and you're like, "Fuck, this is my insurance bill." Damn it!
You just imagine like it pops up out of the ground, you take it, it dips back down under, you turn around, your house just.
Sinks it.
I'm suing. Like,
Oh man.
okay, so that could be a really cool postal system / travel system, maybe.
You can like hire them as guides underground, but
Yeah.
they're like really expensive.
Yeah.
Or maybe there's people who defect from like the postal service, like USPS workers who will they like know all the secrets, they have all the training, they're still blind obviously, but they like can't they have their mount with them because they're like bonded to it in some way, and they're like, yeah, I guess I'll I was like dishonorably discharged from the service, so I'm still gonna do my work. That's all I know, but I'm gonna do it private, like private contractors.
Yeah, 100%. I have no doubt there's multiple of those who are just. Can you imagine like a little farm where there's just a big ass worm living, having a good time?
Where they like retire and they
Yeah.
just like it's like a purple worm just like curled around a windmill.
He gets like a dull gray and he's just getting old. He's having a good
Aw.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be an awesome NPC.
Yeah, a little random encounter when you're traveling is you just come across this guy's farm and he just like bestows some insider knowledge about the USPS or the fucking this world's equivalent. We need to find a better name.
100%. My favorite thing would be like, he just doesn't mention anything about a worm. You're halfway through a conversation, there's a massive earthquake under you, and he's like, that's just Spotty, don't mind him.
Yeah.
That's fucking who? Like,
Oh,
that would be great. I'm making that NPC.
yes.
Okay, so we have a postal system through worms. What's the name of the city? Or the mountain?
Oh god, back to this.
You were meant to be thinking about
AG.
it, bro.
Oh man. In that case, I'm not gonna look up rocks. I'm gonna look up Um,
What are you thinking? Podcast.
Speed.
Gotta talk.
I know. I'm thinking about like the terms, the Latin word for speed or travel, or what's the Latin word for travel?
Let me think back to my years of study of Latin.
Of which we have many.
Many. I don't actually know any Latin words, so I can't even be a smartass and try and think of what. You look horrified.
The Latin word for speed is celeritas? Yeah, that's fucking badass.
That's kind of bang on.
Celermia? Fuck. Finish it.
What's the word again? Without the Mia.
Celeritas. Celeritas.
Selmia.
Selmia. That's so good.
Selmia.
Selmia. And then it's got the word sell in there, so it's still related to the concept of commerce that's been going on in the background. And I love that.
This is awesome. Okay. So we have Eugamia, aka Yuga, now.
Mm-hmm.
We have Katomia, the prime mountain. We have Selmia, which is our trading and post-commerce mountain. We have our military base and our sacred ground left. And our magical academy that we can work on together.
Yes.
So,
Are you sure?
yeah,
You don't
I'm
want
happy
to just
to.
take the Magic Academy?
We're both sluts for lore.
We
so-
are. I put it on a shirt and everything.
You did. Go buy it.
So military then.
Yeah, military. What's like a violent rock?
Obsidian.
Yes!
Actually, though, hands down.
Okay, so OB. We'll start with OB then.
OB. Oh. Obvia? No. Obscenia?
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Obscemia? OB is a very difficult starting point, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Obscemia is not bad. I feel like it doesn't fucking though, you know?
It doesn't hit. Yeah.
It's not it. Fuck. Why is naming shit the hardest fucking part
It is.
of world
no
building?
wonder all these generators do so well.
I know.
Fuck.
Fucking bullshit.
Okay, what's a punchy word that we can mix with OB?
Punch.
A
punch me up.
bunch Mia. Oh God, we're terrible at this.
Yeah. We should.
Score Mia.
Like abscorch?
I was thinking of like scorn, as in like you're just hatred towards
Scorn
someone.
lands, in a sense.
Yeah,
So we've got to have Mia on the end of it, right?
we do.
Okay. Does it need an OB? Because we just sort of latched onto that. Because Obsidian's great, don't get me wrong.
Obsidian's good. There's other aggressive rocks, I'm sure.
Aggressive
Google.
rock.
Hey Google, what? Show me an aggressive rock.
Well, what's like a... Is there a... It's going to sound silly. Is there a rock when combined with something is like combustible? Or is... What's
Salt. Isn't salt combustive if you...
I don't know, it closes my
Add to
arteries
lipids.
really well, so...
Oh, it's like I have a personal vendetta against salt.
Pretty much. I'm addicted to it, it's bad.
Salarium is the Latin word for salt. Or, well, like sal, S-A-L, which is also in Spanish. So.
It's a bit too close to Selmia, though.
Yeah, we could do... What's the essence of gunpowder?
Oh, fuck, that's a great question. What, or like black powder? What's it? Is that gunpowder, black powder?
I think the black powder is like the...
What's in
OG
dynamite?
name. What's in dynamite? I think gunpowder.
Fuck!
Ingredients for dynamite. Don't put me on a list, please.
For the love of God.
Ingredients for a dynamite roll? No. The dynamite, the actual, not the sushi. Nitroglycerin?
Nitomia?
Nitomia. We need an N.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nitomia?
Or nitrosmia or something. That sounds like we've got a Fast and Furious franchise crossover.
Seaformia? Like,
Seaformia. fucking explode me.
pretty much. Uh,
Hmm.
or what's other words for like a landslide or like
Oh, like avalanche?
yeah,
Hmm.
Avanchmia? No. I'm
It
literally just
comes
putting
from
two
the.
words together. Sorry.
I was gonna say avalanche comes from the Latin word for. It's not Latin. It comes from onca or avalance, which is the Swiss word for descent.
Lansmia?
Avalance. Do we want to get French with it?
Valmia.
Valmia. Valmia's good.
Valmia?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Valmia.
Valmia. Because it could be like valiant or valor as well.
Yes. Yeah. And then
Valmia.
also just like the crushing power that Earth has when it's moving at high speeds.
Yeah.
I love that.
Can't catch that, so you can't catch a falling rock. It's really dangerous.
I've tried.
Okay. We've got one more. We've got the Sacred Lands, and then we'll probably wrap up the episode because we're about to hit an hour. It's already been an hour.
Oh my god, it's already been an hour. Okay, so Valmia.
Valmia.
These sacred lands.
So this is like a safe haven of sorts. It's resistant to the air elemental in it, I guess.
Yes. It's like a direct affront to. So it should have strong earth vibes, right?
Mm-hmm. And Katomi has already got Kato's name in it, so we can't really run with that.
Are there any words that evoke the concept of the core of the earth or the center of our planet that we can maybe appropriate? Because having that be jutting out into the sky as an affront to the sky primordial would be kind of a cool vibe. Kind of goes hard.
I mean, core itself?
Cormia?
Cormia. It's a placeholder. I don't think it hits. I can sort of see with us. We're both
Because
like,
when you said it in your
Cormia.
accent, in your fucking Australian accent, goddamn, it sounded like Cormier from like the actual D&D setting, and I was like, I don't know if I want to step on their toes.
I didn't
I
realize
don't know
that
if I
was.
want to.
We won't lean towards that then. I don't even know what that is.
Cormier? Oh
Cormia.
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Cormier.
Cormier. Sorry.
But it sounds like fucking Australians.
Sorry. I'm lazy with fucking syllables, mate. Don't mind me. Okay.
It's 2 for America. 0 for Australia.
I'll write it.
The-
No, that's 3. You had 2 last section.
Did I?
Yep.
Oh hell yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the core, heat, but that
Heat?
gets you into fire. So like
Well, if this-
magma.
It could also be like a defiant kind of thing.
Mhm.
Defy
So
me.
like rebelliousness.
Defy me. Rebellion. Last stand kind of thing.
Yeah. Having it start with an R, I think, is a good idea because then it's.
Well, it's like raised above the sky. Did we decide if there's a specific thing that grows on it? That's like, or did we lean towards more like a temple? What did we decide on? We talked
I think
a lot.
both. It would be a
It's
holy
both?
site. It would be a place where something grows or some animal exists. It'd be a site of pilgrimage for sure. So there would be a temple on it by proxy.
Okay.
I don't think it naturally has as much power. I think people would like shunt their power towards it because it's
Okay.
pretty far from Katomia. So
Yeah. Is it, if it's as prominent, is it just so I know for like future use and whatnot? Is the Titan connected to this really well? Like, is this like the best place to reach him in a sense, or
I think maybe people think it is.
okay?
It's easier. It's maybe it's like the best place to reach him when you're in enemy territory,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Okay. So, all right. So, what are some other words for like defiant or resistance or
Defiance, resistance, rebellion,
could be like a challenge as well?
challenges.
Oh, well, if this is a sacred place, I guess challenge isn't really the thing. It's more like a standing point or like a message, if you will.
Yeah. The Latin word for message, according to Google, is nuncius, which is like regarding to messengers, tidings, announcements. Nuntium means like news. Agentatio means like a declaration. A declaration is
Declaration is a really good word.
fucking concept, like a fuck you, I'm here anyway sort of thing. Declomia?
Declomia?
Declamia? What if we do it with the W? No, CLAW doesn't work. Declomia. DECLOMIA.
Declomia?
Declomia. Is that too obvious?
I feel like it's pretty on the nose.
Yeah.
Sacred lands are difficult, dude. What the fuck?
Oh my god, yeah.
This is the part of Worlds Apart where everyone is just going to be like screaming ideas or like really good names. We're sitting here like and then
Chad, drop your better ideas in the comments. We can
100%.
steal them for next time and pretend they're ours.
Absolutely, we will totally not credit you. It's going to be great. Yeah, because if this, I'm just going to keep talking. So like, ideas flow or words happen. If this thing jutted out of the ground and shot into the sky and is the one thing in this world that can cut through this, you have an idea, don't you? You just let me ramble. What's up?
Do it. No, ramble.
Okay.
I want to hear it.
Sorry. This is the one thing that like shot up into the sky, and this apocalyptic hand of the air elemental. If this one rock is the thing that juts through it and like pokes above it or whatever, that's just fucking ruthless. What would you call it?
Oh, for ruthlessness and like not giving up. Emitia? No, that sounds like emissions.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Could it stand for like hope?
So as opposed to being aggressive, it's more like
we will preserve.
A bastion against the encroaching.
Yeah. We will survive, kind of thing. We will live on.
And maybe a word for like timelessness.
Oh, that could work really well, actually.
So
because we were looking at this as aggressive. This is just not aggressive. This is just a big guy. You're like, hey man, we can live together in harmony.
We could call it like Etermia.
It's like an eternal point.
Yeah.
Or an eternal lasting stand against Etermia.
Etermia. Or
Infimia?
Infinia! That's good. Infimia?
Infimia.
Ephemia.
Yeah. When you write it down, it sounds cool, but when you write it down, you're like, that looks stupid.
I know, for like protection, maybe.
We're gonna spend 3 hours trying to figure out a goddamn name.
Slam our head against a wall.
For a goddamn mountain. If it's defiant, if it's... What's something that's like forever standing? What's something that doesn't really decay or rot or...
Fossils?
Phosmia.
Phosmia's good.
Phosmia. Like
I
F-O-S
like that because
or
it's also
F-O-Z?
got... Let's do a Z.
Phosmia.
Phosmia.
Sacred
well, actually, no. We
Phosmia.
should do an S because there was a guy called the Foz in American culture.
Hey.
And we probably shouldn't. So Phosmia, because that gives the vibe of preservation of knowledge, which could also be well, maybe it wouldn't be like a storehouse of knowledge, but more like a.
Well, I mean, it could be. People would definitely bring tributes and whatnot.
Religious knowledge, poetry would be like flourishing out there.
Yes.
Things that are like spoken word that get immortalized in the stone of the walls of that temple.
And if this thing has been here for centuries, God knows how long, like in the sky where it's damp as well, these things have possibly started to turn into fossils themselves.
Yeah.
Frozen in time parchments or books or anything along those lines that are like melding almost into the stone of this temple.
And maybe to be buried there is like the grandest, like, possible honor that someone can have.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Because what if, like, if there's plant life and stuff up there that's like thriving, nothing really rots there.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were buried there, you're like borderline preserved in a sense.
That'd be cool. I'd love that. This gives so much like rise to local legends and cultures and
Yeah.
like songs in dedication to Phosmia and Phosmian like culture. Oh, it's good. I love that.
Phosmia.
Okay. Phosmia.
Solid shout on the fossils, dude. That was a fantastic call. All right.
Okay. A direction for the magic school then is the last one we got to take down.
And we can do that in the next recording.
That's so true. We do it to end. All right, Odie, where can they find you?
They can find me pretty much on any and all social platforms at Odin_Sun. Make sure there's 2 N's in each word. Diana, where can they find you?
Hi, I'm Dinah Faye, also known as Diana of the Rose on all platforms. I'm a tabletop gaming content creator, friend of Odie, which I put above tabletop content creation. And also, if you're curious about finding the podcast itself, we do actually have our own socials. Worlds Apart TTRPG has its own presence on every social media platform, including Bluetooth, Blue Sky, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Mastodon, all of them. Everywhere you look, we are there. And you can find us at Worlds Apart TTRPG. So come hang out. Maybe that's where we'll shove bonus content for now.
Oh, 100%. We
Little
are
snippets, little teasers.
making little clips here and there, keeping you
Little
updated
thoughts.
on random stupid things we might come up with when we're not recording. Who knows?
Oh man, we have so many stupid things.
We really do. It's ridiculous. But thank you guys for tuning in this week. We will be back in a couple of weeks for episode 3 already. Kind of crazy. We're getting there.
Man, yeah.
But thank you guys for listening. Hope you have a lovely day. Stay safe wherever you are. Bye-bye.
Bye.